to complain, but can somebody tell me why those with the least pay for those with the most? Don't mention the pension, they've raided that too. I'm eating cod cannon while they're having stew. We bail out the banks, we bail out the bankers, bail out the fat cats, the cash cow is dry. But my name is Joe, I used to be a plumber, and I want to know who's bailing out me. We bail out the banks, we bail out the bankers, bail out the fat cats, the cash cow is dry. But my name is Joe, I used to be a plumber, and I want to know who's bailing out me. We bail out the banks, we bail out the bankers, bail out the fat cats, the cash cow is dry. But my name is Joe, I used to be a plumber, and I want to know who's bailing out me. And I want to know who's bailing out me.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
The next time we have problems in the economy, which will be not too long, we don't have any bullets left.
Now, I know what a lot of you folk out there might be saying to yourselves. You might be saying, big deal, so what? The economy is booming. You might be saying, I have my credit card, my lovely apartment, my hire purchase car, holidays in the sun. Whole economy is just swinging. You might be saying to yourselves, well, how could I have ever afforded such things had I not been for the local friendly bank? And besides, I can repay my debts. So stop whinging.
Sitting on the sidelines or on the fence, cribbing and moaning is a lost opportunity. In fact, I don't know how people who engage in that don't commit suicide.
This bathtub here represents the Irish economy. And all the water inside it represents all the money in circulation. Now, this bucket down here represents all the phony bank loans that the banks pour into the economy practically every single day of the week. Now, what happens in the short term? The building sites are full, there's credit cards, they're selling apartments and houses, there are people who are drinking every night of the week. Unfortunately, however, for every bucket load of phony money the banks pour into the economy, they extract 3 in return. Yes, it's the big I, interest. I tell you, it makes you wonder what's going to happen when it comes to payback time. Well, let's take a look. Here's £1 billion in repayments that will never ever be spent before the holidays ever again. From now on, it'll likely be Butland instead of Benidorm. Here's thousands of remortgaged houses to pay for all those shopping sprees. Jesus, look. Nearly all the money is gone. The economy is in bad shape. We've all been completely conned. But this could never happen here, could it?
Here are the thrill seekers, corrupt and immoral.
They grotesquely skewed and distorted the Irish economy to a dependence on speculation and on construction to a huge extent, with, of course, the main party of government at that time, Fianna Fáil, deeply involved with the speculators, often I've no doubt corruptly involved with the speculators, but they have been in the pockets of the speculators for 40 years. So the speculators found a willing accomplice in government to facilitate and legislate for this racketeering that went on.
It has always intrigued me, here's Ireland, the country in Europe with the lowest population per head, per square mile. Countries like Belgium, Holland, absolutely jammed. They don't have housing problems. How come we, with a small population and lots of land, have astronomical house prices, and they, with no land and lots of population, have no house?
Well, I agree with you on that one. And as you know, the only way that you solve that problem, it's the old Hansen theory of supply and demand.
At the height of the boom in 2006, Ireland was building more houses per head than anywhere else in the world. Nearly 90,000 were built in that year alone.
which meant that over a period of years, taxes and public finances became hugely dependent on a massive and increasing bubble of speculation and borrowing, workers borrowing to the hilt to provide a basic human need, a home for themselves, but speculators borrowing from their accomplices in the banks and intoxicated with the idea that this bonanza that was reaping them such massive rewards could go on forever.
But Vincent, we have this idea that all this stuff was shrouded, it was secret, and it's all bubbling to the surface now. This is the general sort of narrative of the last 2 years. That's not true. It was in the balance sheets. Anglo was growing at 15% year on year, a red flag for most banking analysts. Irish Nationwide, its board was run as a fight to Michael Fingleton. That was known. Corporate governance standards were shoddy in that bank. That was known. None of that stuff was secretive. So when the government say we need to set up this commission of inquiry, an awful lot of this stuff was known at the time. Now, not all of it was, like the back-to-back deposits, the Quinn Group, so on. But the other elements were all there. You could go to the company's office and see it.
A whole country of people thinking the property prices would never go down is insane in hindsight.
Primetime has found other alarming evidence of regulatory failure. It concerns the controversial transaction that led Anglo to misrepresent $7.4 billion it transferred to Irish Life and Permanent and then received back again at its year end.
It was moved as one thing from Anglo to Irish Life and returned to Anglo as something else. In other words, it was moved as an interbank deposit and it came back as a customer deposit. And Anglo then were able to present it as a kind of show of confidence in the bank in their accounts. So it was again giving an absolutely false impression.
Anglo's listing of the billions as a corporate deposit meant that it grossly misrepresented its worth to the Irish Stock Exchange. Yet, before it was reported, we've obtained a report that the regulator's head of banking told Irish Life's financial officer last October that she was ringing to confirm the transfer had taken place, rather than to indicate any problems.
The regulator has serious questions to answer, because if the regulator followed the transaction, it must have seen the fact that this particular loan was used to actually window dress the Anglo accounts.
Minutes of a meeting obtained by Primetime also showed that the former central bank governor and regulator were made aware of the transfer last October, when they knew Anglo was under acute liquidity pressure and should have ensured it was properly reported.
That's very, very serious, and I think the investigation is going to have to ask the hard question of the regulator: why did they do nothing about it and allow it to go ahead in the Anglo accounts?
Monaghan Senator Francie O'Brien received over $7 million worth of loans which were fast-tracked without giving financial statements detailing income or other loans. Former Senator Don Lydon received over $3 million in loans in a similar way. Olivia recalls facilitating former Senator, now Councillor Dr. Sean McCarthy, on the direction of Mr. Fingleton. Bertie Ahern's former partner Celia Larkin was also given a fast-track loan of $40,000 last year without providing documentation.